What's up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And tonight we are going to update you on the price action with the OMI token. It's been a while. I've had a very busy couple of weeks with my engineering consulting, but I am not worried one bit about this chart with OMI, and I will tell you why as we break down the action on the 4-hour and the 1-day chart. Now, let's get rid of my handsome face as we jump straight into the chart here on TradingView with the 4-hour candlesticks. Right now, we see that we have an overall upward trend that is still strongly intact. There is no question about that. Now, I'm going to put a little bit more price history in here so we can show this since the beginning of the uptrend back here. I would say the low point of August the 22nd, and since then we have been in a bullish trending trading channel. Now let's just put that trading channel up here. Let's draw a couple lines so we can show you what I mean by that. That means that in general, overall, the price stays within the boundaries of a channel that has a definitive upper and lower limit. Okay, if we were to draw it like this is about as close of an approximation that you're going to get, where we try to get as many of the candle closes and wicks within the lines, and then we know when there's a potential chance for a change in direction when we spend a lot of time outside the line. And right now, I really don't think we have any reason or concern, worries, or whatsoever, and I'll show you why. Now, let me put that line back up there, actually, this bottom trend line that I had here, where it kind of gives us the impression that we have broken the bottom trend, the bottom of this parallel trending trading channel. But notice a couple things here. This is what I noticed. As we started to trend downward after this peak right here, we had the second lower high, and it kind of looked like we're in a little bit of a downward trend. I was thinking that the worst possible scenario would be jumping down to the 200 EMA line here on the 4-hour, which is right here. We did go below that, but notice how we snatched right back up here to the lower of the parallel trading boundary, okay, of the boundary zone rather. So here we are right now at the line, right here at the line, which is above the 200 EMA and the 50 EMA. And we have a volume node that is sitting right here. We're at this node. Price tends to jump from one node to another when we have a lot of trading history that shows up on the chart. So there's a fat node here, then we got another node here that sticks out, which is probably the next place that it could go if we don't jump up to this higher node. And we'll look at the indicators and decide on where we think it's going from here after we break down the 4-hour and the 1-hour chart. We also have a great big fat node right here, but currently the momentum isn't telling me that we will possibly make it down that far. Now let's look at the indicators. On the stochastic, we have a clear upward trend here. You see this rising trend as we keep bouncing up, down, up, down, up. We have a divergence of the fast line, which is the blue line. That's the %K. And the slow line, which is this orangey one, that's the %D. When they're divergent, it means that we have a strong movement in that direction on the cycle of the oscillator, okay? So with an oscillator, that just means it's going to do a cycle up, down, up, down, up, down. It bounces around, and when we get above this 80 line, that's considered to be overbought. When we get below this 20 line, that's considered to be oversold. And the reason why I like the stochastic is because it tells us where we are in a general trend. In other words, we look at the stochastic peaks and we compare them, and that tells us where the trend is going. So let's check out the peaks. Here's a peak right here. What was the price? Right about there. At the next stochastic peak, what was the price? We had a higher high. It's right there. At the next stochastic peak, we had a higher high right there. At the next stochastic peak, well, we pulled back. which is a possible change in trend. Now, this next peak that is coming up here, I don't know where it's going to end up, but it could be a lower high. Overall, I'm not concerned about this possible change in the trend of the trading zone. So in other words, let's just draw this up here. Let's put these lines back up here. There's the bottom. There's the top. This is what you call a bullish trending zone. Now let's make a bearish trending zone. Let's say, for instance, if we continue to fall below the bottom of this line and we do another lower high, we're going to say, uh-oh, there's enough information to let us know that now we're in a downward trending parallel trade zone where you might say connect the dots like this. And that's just generically. And all this does, it just tells you where the overall trend is. If you like to do swing trading, or if you're trying to decide when to get in or when to get out. I'm holding this for the long term, by the way, and this is not financial advice, but there's no concern for me, at least on this 4-hour chart. We'll get to the 1 day next. Another thing is this OBV. I'm using the OBV tonight and not the MACD just to show you that we have this general uptrend in the OBV, which is on balance volume. And this is an approximation of the accumulation or distribution of the token. I used to use this back in my stock market days when I was trading. When this line is going up, it means that the institutional investors and buyers and the whales, they're loading up, okay? When the line is going down, it means they're getting rid of or dumping. So if we saw something like this where we had a sharp drop off in this line, and it was doing this, that would say they're really getting rid of it, and overall there's more selling than buying, and people are dumping their positions and taking profits. So I like the looks of this OBV because in general, as we have trended up overall, this OBV is still strong. If we just take an average right through the middle, this is an uptrend. It means that there's more accumulation going on than distribution. Now let's jump to the 1 day chart and see what it looks like. These are the 1 day candles. We don't have as much data on TradingView because of the fact that this was just listed on an exchange, which is OKEX, that is tracked, that sends data to TradingView. Now, we see this trend that is going upwards overall from this low point here to the high point here. The overall trend is up. And we can see on this chart, we've got the workings of a 50 EMA. We don't have enough data for a 200 EMA just yet. But we bounced right off of this 50 EMA and moved back up. That's pretty cool. That's some nice action, which tells me that overall we're still moving up. We might have a downward trending trading channel on the 4-hour that might not last long. It might look like this, and then we might continue upwards and break back through this like so. That could happen. It's not guaranteed. But overall, the trend is up. Now, I like the positioning of where we are on the stochastic cycle on the 1 day. Here's all of the history of the stochastic cycle since we got on the OKEX exchange. Let's look at where we are right now. We're down here in the oversold territory below the 20 line. Notice how the fast line, the blue, has overtaken the orange line, the slow, right here. Not to say that it will stay that way, but for now it is crossed over. And it means that we could possibly be heading upwards for a cycle up. So this is what I would expect it to do, to continue to climb up through here as we're in a bull market. And at some point at the market pickle, that makes a lot of sense. At the market cycle peak, this could be right here, where we would expect a blow off top somewhere up here and then a change in direction once again. Now, if this peak happened on October 10th and the last peak happened in September, and this one happened back in nearly the end of October, early September, it looks like these peaks are occurring at 1 month intervals. So if we're near the end of October right now, and we're at the bottom of this cycle, I would say that by mid-November or end of November, we could be at the top of the next stochastic peak. that would be a time to sell and take profits. As for me, I probably won't. I think I'm just going to sit on mine because I don't want to bother with it. I'm just going to hold, do the hodl thing and wait a few years because I have 1 million tokens. And this would be a nice retirement package for me to cash in later on. Now, let's look at the OBV. It is on the rise. Look at the overall. It's moving up like this. A very nice, strong movement upwards means that we have heavy-duty consolidation that's going on. Therefore, I'm not worried about any dips in the immediate. The only people I think that are really worried out there are latecomers who bought at this peak here. And I have a rule about this. I say don't ever, ever, ever buy into a run. That if you did not buy down here during this period, okay, you're late to the ball game. Actually, you should have bought back here. This is the zone where you should have bought. My average price is 0.0027. The bags should be loaded and packed, and you should already be on the train back here. Anything after that, you increase your risk when you buy during this time period. But if you're in right now and you bought at this peak, just sit steady in the boat and wait. You're going to have the queasy stomach while you dip below your entry price. That's what happens, but you're in. And if you are patient, you wait, chances are it's going to go up. And that is not a guarantee. That is not financial advice. I'm not telling you that I have a crystal ball and can predict the movement of this price line. Nobody can. But patience is a virtue. And if you have patience, you increase your odds of cashing in big time. Now, for me, my goal for OMI, I'm sitting around waiting for the 50 cents to $1 range. So you can certainly understand why I'm not concerned with price movement right now at 0.007. I mean, we're going to be at 1 cent very soon and probably popping above that. And I'm waiting for the big movement once this really gets to moving as the momentum builds, when VeVe continues to pick up new brands and iconic NFTs that will be sold on the app and token burns happen, and the transfer to the immutable X blockchain happens. So when we get all of these things, I expect great things to happen with price. But that's what I see right now. And then as far as the immediate, let me just tell you what it looks like on this chart. For the immediate price action, we do see a volume node that comes in right here. This is a big peak node. And then we have this peak node here. So I would say for the immediate short term, lowest price area, according to this chart, where the VPVR tells us we have a popular trading range right here with a peak node here. This is probably a little bit above 0.006, is probably going to be the bottom. Now, again, that's probability. That's the highest probability. It is possible that we can go below that and jump down to this node. But the highest probability is that we stay below or above this fat node right here because we are in a bull market. So that's kind of what I expect. And then I would expect us to hit this new base and then hit another all-time high and start to move onward from that point, with the overall price action still in an upward trending trading channel of action. That is all I've got for right now. I hope this has helped you. And post your comments below, any questions about the technical analysis. I'm hoping it was very simple and easy to understand. And for the overall, for good fundamentals, a couple people that I want to recommend, and for some additional very easy to understand technical analysis, check out Daniel Lee. I'll post a link to his channel. Shout out to Daniel. What's happening, man, down there in Oklahoma, where the wind goes rushing down the plain. And shout out to my homie and your homie, the non-fungible, non-collectible, fungible, non-wrappable. You know what? I don't know what the deal is. I can never say your name when I'm thinking about it on a video. Non-tangible, wonderful, fungibility. I'll post a link. Anyway, he's in my hometown, in Chi-Town. By the way, he will be coming to my channel. I'm going to do an interview because he is one of the best who can give you the overall picture of what VeVe and Ecomi is doing. I love his videos. Check him out if you want to stay up on the latest, because that's how I stay informed. I watch both of these individuals for the overall. As per usual, shout out to the Rebel Duck for your fantastic charting of the NFT items from the VeVe app. And shout out to the Gale. Woo! And big props to VeVe Vault Chris for all the tips and the tricks to making the best out of the drops. Hang in there, guys, and we'll chop it up in the comments. See you next time. I'm out. Peace.